Hello. I don't know if you can hear me. The camera might be too far away. But we're gonna try this anyway. I'm home sick. I think I just have a cold. I've already had COVID, so I don't think I have COVID again. But I don't feel good, so I'm taking a sick day. And I'm finally going to get around to filming my reading vlog, my big book reading vlog for this month, where I'm reading Clockwork Prince and then Clockwork Princess, whatever the last book in this series is. I'm actually on page 208 and I've been reading it all month, and I've kind of been going at it a little slow. Not because I don't enjoy it, I just haven't really had time to read this month. Or I haven't had time, or maybe not time, I haven't had like the motivation to like sit down and read this month. But I've really been enjoying this. I really liked the first one, and if you're not familiar with this series, it's set in like the Victorian era in London, and it takes place before the Mortal Instruments series. Oh, so you kind of get to see, it's still about Shadowhunters, but like you get to see like kind of a different world than what it was in the Mortal Instruments. Mortal Instruments was set in New York. You can obviously read these first, you're not going to miss anything. And actually a lot of people recommend not to read them in publication order, but instead to read this first and then read, I believe, Chain of Gold would be the next one, and then read Shadowhunters, and then read the Lady Midnight series. I didn't do that. I've been reading them in publication order, so I read all of the Shadowhunters books, the Mortal Instruments books, and now I'm starting this one. Anyway, I really like it. I haven't gotten any reading footage, so I figured I would get some reading footage this morning. I have my coffee. This is the Premier Protein Cafe Latte mixed with like a shot, and it's good. I like it. I also have all of my pills. I have my ADHD medication, my omega-3s for mood boosting, my allergy pills, and my antidepressant. And I'm gonna eat a cookie. This is the Milk Bar Cornflake Chocolate Chip Marshmallow Cookie. So that's what I'm eating for breakfast. I don't know if I'm gonna go for a run today. I know anyone watching this is probably like, that's really dumb if you're sick, but it's really warm outside. And I think the reason I got sick is because I've been running in the cold, and I think the cold and like sweating and stuff like that has just like, I'm having it's like sinus drainage is what it is. It's like draining from my sinuses and like my ears into my throat. So I don't, I'm like one of those people that I definitely recommend taking rest days, like if you're sick, but at the same time, like in this case, like it's not that I know I'm sick, but it's like I know I'd be fine is basically what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I'm gonna get some reading footage for you guys, and probably when I'm on page like 300 I'll update again. I would really like to finish this today. It's 480, you know what, it is 500 pages, so I technically don't have to finish the series this month because my big book challenge is to just read a big book. So I may only do this book in this vlog. We'll see. I don't know. I know I'm not going to read both of them this week. Like, I have other books I want to read. But yeah, I may only read this one this month. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, we're just going to read. I'm not wearing any pants, so I got to be careful with my shots. So. So, my bed is squeaky. I finished my 100 pages. I had a realization, this is a side note, has nothing to do with this book, but I was like, I mentioned in the earlier clip that I was going to go running even though I'm sick, and I'm like, Allie, why are you doing that? And in my brain I was like, I need to run because I need to stay on schedule, because right now I'm not technically like in a deficit. I'm tracking, but I'm like kind of at this point where like I just want to maintain for a little bit before I go into another cut, because I've basically been in a caloric deficit for like a year, and it's been a very slow deficit, but I've been in a deficit for a year. And I'm tired, and I've lost 30 pounds at this point in the past like year and a half, which doesn't seem like a lot, but I mean, that's like a lot of weight. So anyway, all this to say, I'm not running today. That's just ridiculous. I'll probably do some yoga, and until I feel better, I'm going to do yoga, because I know that the reason I'm sick is because I've been running outside in the cold. So I need to just chill. It's gonna be okay. I just need to eat better. I know I just ate cookies, but I just need to eat a fucking vegetable. Anyway, that's not what this is about. I finished my 100 pages. We're finally getting to the point where the love triangle is starting to build. I've been really into romance, and I haven't done a book video yet. I filmed a book video, didn't like the way it turned out, so what I'm gonna end up doing is probably like every 3 months do a book video. Anyway, not the point. At the moment, I'm really loving romance, and one of my favorite romance tropes is a love triangle. I love a love triangle, especially in YA books. So we're finally getting to the point where there's a little bit of a love triangle, and I'm loving it, because I don't want to give too much away. So this is kind of a spoiler, so like spoiler alert, I'll put it up on the screen, but I love Will. So the two boy characters, it's Will and Jem. And Jem is fine, but I love Will. Will is like the bad boy, and again, I have the tropes I like, and I like them, and I always root for the bad boy, okay? I can't help it. I've always been this way, and I love Will. I love him so much. I think he's just misunderstood, and he's the bad boy, and I just love him. And his chemistry with Tessa, I love it. So I'm loving it, because they're finally like spending some time together and like talking about it. And the flip side is like, it's sad because Jem is like sick. I don't remember what Jem has, or like if they've ever said it. I think he has tuberculosis, but I thought tuberculosis was like contagious, so I don't know why he has tuberculosis and like no one else does. But I don't know a lot about tuberculosis for me to be speaking about this. Yeah, I'm like loving this so much. And I'm so happy, because if you watched my Crescent City vlog, if you didn't, I'll link it down below. You should definitely watch it. It's basically me ranting for 30 minutes. I know Cassandra Clare is like problematic. I don't even remember why she's problematic. I'm sure it has something to do with all of her characters are white, which isn't great. I mean, we do have a little bit of representation in here. I think Magnus Bane is supposed to be black, but in the Mortal Instruments, he was never described that way. But I'm pretty sure he's supposed to be black, and Jem is half Chinese, I believe. So he's like Chinese English or whatever. But I mean, like, two characters being a minority is not diversity, you know. I get that. I'm not standing up for Cassandra Clare and her lack of diversity. Trust me. But I know it had something to do with like, I don't know, something about fan fiction. I really don't know, but I feel like there's like a war against Cassandra Clare always, which is fine. I like what I like, and you know, she there's authors that have done worse, you know. So I will continue to read her, and also make sure I'm also reading other diverse authors in order to broaden my horizons, you know. Anyway, not the point. But while I feel like Cassandra Clare gets a lot of shit, Sarah J. Maas doesn't get enough shit, okay? Because she does a lot of the similar things that Cassandra Clare does, with like zero diversity in her books, first of all. And furthermore, Crescent City just pissed me off in a lot of ways, because I just don't, it was like the most unbooked book I've read in so long. And while I like the Throne of Glass series, it's not anything like revolutionary, and it's one of those things like I'm continuing to read them because they're really quick reads. Whereas Cassandra Clare's books, like, I genuinely enjoy them. Like, oh yeah, there was incest. That was the thing that Cassandra Clare got a lot of shit for. I mean, it was fake incest, but still unforgivable. Anyway, again, not the point, but I just feel like Cassandra Clare's a better writer. Like, her books fully immerse me, like, into the world, where I feel like Sarah J. Maas is just like, I don't know if you've ever read these books where they just kind of like putter along and they're entertaining, but you're not like, I'm not going to think about them 3 years down the road and be like, man, I really enjoyed that series, or like, I really enjoyed that book. Whereas like, I started reading the Shadowhunter series, I think 3 years ago, and I read the Mortal Instrument series like all in 1 year, and that's 6 really big books, so that's a pretty big feat. And I loved it, and I still think about it enough that I went, during quarantine actually, I bought the entire set of Infernal Devices and the entire set of the Lady Midnight series because I just wanted to read them. So I guess that's what I mean. It's just like, these, in my opinion, are something that I think about often because I do think that they're well written for a YA book. It's not like it's a piece of like revolutionary literary art, but there is this sense of like world building, and I think Cassandra Clare does what I wish all fantasy writers would do. I mentioned this in my Crescent City vlog, that when you write fantasy, a few things have to happen for me to like them. The first one is, especially if you're writing urban fantasy, it has to be grounded in some sort of reality. So with Cassandra Clare, she grounds it in London in these books, Brooklyn in the other books. And when you have a series, whether it's a trilogy or a long series, or whether it's the start of a trilogy or the start of a long series, the way that it should work, in my opinion, is the first book, the world is, you know, there's more of it out there, but it has to be containable in this space, right? So the world starts a little bit smaller. And with each book, it grows and it grows and it grows. Now, if you're doing it in one single book, it works the same way. You have to start with a small world and then expand it out. And it has to almost have this like upside down pyramid type quality. And that's what Mortal Instruments did. You started in Brooklyn, and then the world just got bigger and bigger and bigger until it, you know, at the end, it was just this huge world. But you have to build it step by step so that you can like understand it and digest it. Sarah J. Maas in Crescent City just like threw this world at you, and it was big from the start and like kind of difficult to understand, right? And that just bothered me. I just like wasn't a fan of that, because I feel like you just can't do that, and many authors can't do that. I've never read Lord of the Rings, so I don't know if Lord of the Rings follows that same structure, but every good fantasy series I've ever read has started that way. And even if you look at something like the Game of Thrones series, which is a huge, ginormous world, it didn't even start that way. It started with the North. Now I can't even remember. It was like the North over here, over there. Like, it started very small and then it got bigger as you went. So that was my issue with Crescent City. Anyway, this isn't the Crescent City vlog. This is the Infernal Devices vlog. I am on page 300 exactly. I actually think I'm going to finish this today, which is crazy. I'm not going to run. I'm not going to exercise except for do some light yoga at some point. That's just crazy for me to think. I need to really chill because I'm not working with a coach anymore. I haven't done a fitness update just because part of me just feels like I don't owe it to anyone, you know what I mean? And I had people that really liked my fitness content, so I want to find a way to create fitness content in a way that I enjoy. So I haven't figured that out yet, but I don't really owe anyone an explanation. I'm not working with a coach anymore. I wanted to prove that I could still continue to do this on my own, but ultimately I just decided I don't want to continuously be in a deficit. I would like to take a little time off, but I would also like to not gain weight and figure out this balance between like having food freedom and like not overeating every second. And that's been really hard for me at the moment, and that's fine. But I'm struggling because in my head I'm like, if I'm not exercising, I need to eat less, and that's not how the world works. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get up, get some steps in the house probably. And I don't know, I have some stuff on my to-do list, so maybe I'll do them, but I don't know. But I will continue reading at some point. I'm hoping to finish this today. I think we can do it. Let's go. Okay, both of my cats are on the bed, and I just woke them up because, as you can hear, my bed is squeaky. I'm gonna start reading again and put on pants and socks because I'm kind of cold. My throat is hurting a lot less, so I think I just needed rest, which is good because I didn't want to be sick. I had COVID in December, and that was enough sickness to last the whole year, honestly. So, yeah, we're gonna read. So I only read 50 pages because I'm like about to fall asleep. So I'm gonna take a little nap and then probably eat some lunch and then finish the next 50 pages, which will put me at 400, which will leave me with only 100 pages. So I really think I'm gonna finish this today, which is super exciting, but it definitely depends on how long I sleep. So yeah, I took a nap, I ate lunch. Now I'm going to read. On page, oh, okay, I'm on page like 415 or something like that. So good. I'm definitely gonna finish this today, but right now I do need to get some sort of movement in. I'm feeling a lot better after that nap and like eating, and I've drank about 80 ounces of water so far. And just like a tip, I guess, if like, and I also use some Nasacort. If you are ever sick, like with a simple cold and not something like COVID, or even if you are sick with COVID, making sure you drink water is like instrumental in feeling better. I actually, in the red cup, I mixed like a squeezy tube of like a like a sugar-free Kool-Aid flavoring or something like that, just to help me like get more water without being miserable or whatever. But yeah, I'm loving this. I like love filming just like on my bed like this. This is so nice for just like a chill reading vlog. But anyway, so much has happened. I just love this book so much. Like, I hate that I waited so long to continue this series because it's just so good. But yeah, I don't want to give too much away because I've already given so much away. but I'm gonna go ahead and get out of bed for a little bit and do some light, well, I don't know if it's light, I'm gonna do yoga with Adrian's latest yoga video. It's pretty long, but since I'm not doing any cardio, which I thought about it, I was like, I feel better, so maybe I'll get on the bike. But just from having COVID, I remember that sometimes, like, and again, another like sick tip is on a day when you're sick, even if you do start to feel better, it's best to just wait till the next day to do cardio or anything like that, because what can end up happening is like you feel good for a second and then you go and your body's already run down, it's trying to heal or whatever, and then you go and try to like do this cardio or whatever, and you're just gonna stay perpetually sick. So just wait till you feel better. That's what I'm gonna do. I actually probably feel better because I took some Advil, so I don't have as much pressure in my ears anymore, and I used some Nasacort. So anyway, that's not what this video is about, but I've really had fun doing this. So I don't know if the next clip will be filmed in bed because my husband should be home from work soon, but this was so fun. So I will check in once I finished it. I have to say that was like fun. I would love to do another reading vlog where I just like don't leave my bed. Okay, so I just wanted to give my final thoughts. I finished Clockwork Prince. I don't think I'm gonna finish the last book, Clockwork Princess, anytime soon. Or anytime in like the next week. So I'm probably gonna edit and post this sometime in the near future, and then this will just be part 1, and then the next reading vlog I do will definitely be Clockwork Princess. But I loved this so much. The love triangle was tough for me. There's a spoiler alert, so I'm going to put spoiler alert on the screen. But I'm actually like a big Will Herondale fan, and I think it's just because like I love bad boys. I think Jem is like so sweet, but I love Will. And so for the relationship to turn out the way that it did was really tough for me, because I just, my heart was like shattered at the end. I've just grown. I think, here's the thing. So Shadowhunters I loved, but I just feel like there were characters I liked, but I liked the side relationships so much better. Like Magnus Bane is one of my favorite characters ever. I love him and Alec together. I love Isabel and Simon together, but I wasn't a big fan of like Clary and Jace together, mostly because I wasn't a big fan of Clary to begin with. So that is part of like, I don't want to say it's like why I didn't like it, because I loved the Shadowhunter series, but it's part of the reason why I didn't feel this like deep connection, and like why like the second it ended I wasn't really sad. Whereas this, like, I can already feel myself getting sad knowing that like the next book is going to be over, because I love these characters. Like I love Charlotte so much. I love Charlotte and Henry, and like now they're having a baby. Another spoiler. And like I love Will, and I love Jem. I just don't, you know. I love Sophie. I love Magnus. I love Magnus's cat. Just every character in here I just like loved so much. And I loved Gideon, I think is the good son, Gideon Lightwood. I just loved all of these characters. So I'm gonna be so sad when this ends. And I do definitely plan on doing a Chain of Gold reading vlog after this, because I already read Chain of Gold not knowing that I should have read this first. So I didn't understand it, like didn't feel a connection to it, but now that I've read this, I think I'll really like Chain of Gold. So I'm gonna reread that, but I'm so sad. I'm so sad it's over, and I'm so sad the next book's gonna be the end of the trilogy. This is just part 1, so keep your eyes peeled for the second part where I read Clockwork Princess. And maybe we'll do it in bed. I thought that was so fun, so I think we should do that again. So yeah, that's it. I don't know. I don't have anything else to say. thank you for watching if you got this far. I really appreciate it, and let me know if there's other books. I know I mentioned a lot of books, but in the next near future, I want to read Clockwork Princess, I want to do a reading blog for Chain of Gold, and I want to do a reading blog for Midnight Sun. I had a few other books on my list, like Empire of Storms, Court of Thorn and Roses, Priory of an Orange Tree, and the second book in the Leviathan Wakes series. So I have like lots of options. And then I have Lady Midnight as well, so I could also just read the last trilogy that was in the Cassandra Clare series. So like I have tons of options. I'm like looking at my shelves. There's plenty to choose from. So let me know if there's like a certain type of book or like a certain genre. But anyway, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.